This is the biggest change that SSA Rocket League has ever seen. I'm Greybeard, the SSA Vibe Director. I'm going to take a dive into this new 2/3 rule, and as we do, make sure you do all the things like subscribe and click bell. Let's get it. The introduction of the 2/3 rule in RLCS is the most significant, most important change for SSA Rocket League since our inclusion in the broader RLCS competition in 2021. The 2/3 rule stipulates that a majority of an RLCS roster, 2/3 of it, must include players who are actually from the region in which they are competing. Prior to 2024, the rule was quite simple. You had to be physically located in and from the region in which you competed. A player from North America or Europe or SSA had to play in America or Europe or SSA. All of that changed for the 2024 season. The region rules were completely scrapped. Region unlock. If a player was willing to deal with the ping, they could play for any region in the world, from any region in the world. Or players could fly from one region to another to represent that region. For very strong regions like North America and Europe, who have large player bases, this wasn't a problem. However, in the case of SSA, we have a vastly smaller player base, and by the time we were included in RLCS, the competition had been going for 5 or 6 years, and we found ourselves very far behind the skill meta of the top level. We had a lot of catching up to do. Once region restrictions were removed, it allowed lower string EU players to play in SSA, and even with higher ping, they could dominate local players. During the 2024 and 2025 seasons, 75% of SSA's prize pool went to foreign players. 3 Spanish players flew out to South Africa so that they could play and compete with no ping disadvantage. And we found ourselves in the absurd position of the Sub-Saharan Africa region being represented by EU players, Spanish players, at international lands. And this defeats the entire reason for a global competition. But having said all of this, there was also an upside. Faced with stiffer competition, our local players had to get better, and they got better. Local players competed and practiced alongside better players, not as much as we would have liked, but enough that the skill level improved substantially. Thus, we have come to see that on the one hand, hard region restrictions keeps us isolated in a way which makes skill progression difficult. Being a minor region also means convincing stronger teams to scrim is very difficult. There's simply no upside for the higher level players to help. And then on the other hand, no region restrictions means the local players are overwhelmed and it stifles motivation for the broader base locally. And this brings us to the 2/3 rule and the 2026 season. Really, it is the best of both worlds. SSA players get the vital experience of playing alongside and against talented import players, which is excellent for networking and improvement, while the region gets to retain a majority of the prizing available. And it also provides an opportunity for bubble players from other regions to find success and to be noticed outside of their big regions like North America and Europe, where the player base is so big that it's hard to have an impact. This change is a positive leap forward for our region. From early indications, we are going to have the best 2026 season. In fact, it's probably going to be the best we have ever had. And as a champion for the region and our players and a caster for RLCS broadcasts, it was horribly demotivating, terribly depressing to see our local heroes being sidelined by full import teams. And now the prospect of watching, casting and cheering our players in 2026 is mouth-watering. The only time I have felt close to this excited was when we had our very first RLCS regional in 2021. And it's a feeling I believe is shared amongst talent, organizers, fans, and most importantly, our professional player base. But what are your thoughts on the rule? I'm sure there are diverse opinions, and I'd love to hear yours.